Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Lucy Vigil, and I am a registered nurse in our Women and Children's Department at Natividad. Unfortunately, we are here as a department today because we have been forced to work through a multitude of patient safety concerns that have not been addressed by the current leadership. While nurses have repeatedly attempted to follow our chain of command and address the issues with our department director and nursing management, nothing has been done. And it is due to the seriousness of these concerns that we felt we had no choice but to bring these issues before you all today. First, we continue to have a never-ending problem with chronic and dangerous short staffing. In fact, over the past 2 years, labor and delivery nurses have witnessed far more days where we are repeatedly called to come in on our days off or mandated to stay over after a long 12-hour night shift. But the problem is, we are also watching as dozens of our experienced nurses feel like they have no choice but to find work elsewhere, rather than to work under these risky conditions. As nurses, we cannot stand by as sworn patient advocates when we fear our patients may be harmed or that our hard-earned RN licensure is in jeopardy. And it isn't just chronic short staffing. We have also faced management interference in our professional judgment when it comes to how sick we assess our patients to be. In other words, our management adjusts our professional assessments of patient acuity to alter the nurse-to-patient ratios, something that California Title 22 nurse-to-patient ratio law makes clear they should not do. In addition, our leadership team has repeatedly taken away the autonomy of our vital charge nurse role and their ability to prepare the unit for an emergency. Our director now requires us to route every decision through her, whether she is there or not, which often causes unsafe care situations and delays patient care. Today, I stand with my fellow perinatal colleagues to call on our supervisors to stand with the nurses as sworn patient advocates, to ask for the turnover of records from our department for the last 2 years, to see the overtime that we have worked, to talk with us about the unsafe care we have witnessed, and to hold the Women and Children's Department management accountable. As registered nurses, we would never wait to act as advocates until a serious sentinel event occurs with one of our mothers or newborn infants. We now need our elected Board of Supervisors to stand with us to do the same. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name's Janie Edwards, and I have been a nurse for over 20 years, and I have been in Natividad's NICU now for almost 3.5. This letter is written on behalf of General Practitioner Natalie Silva. To whom it may concern, I am writing to express my strong support for the nursing staff and to advocate for increased resources and stepping within our healthcare system. During my time as a resident at NMC, I had the privilege of working closely with the nurses across multiple units. I consistently witnessed their compassion, clinical excellence, and unwavering dedication to patient care. Nurses are the backbone of our healthcare system, often serving as the primary point of contact, advocate, and support for patients and their families. At the same time, I had also observed firsthand the challenges created by ongoing staffing shortages. Many units were operating with limited personnel, which placed significant strain on nurses and impacted their ability to provide the level of care they strive to deliver. Despite these challenges, nurses continue to show remarkable resilience and commitment, but it is not sustainable without adequate support. To ensure health and safety over community, it is essential that we invest in our nursing workforce. This includes improving staffing ratios, providing adequate resources, and fostering a work environment that support both the professional and personal well-being of nurses. Supporting is not only an investment in healthcare workers, it is an investment in the quality of care of our community receives. Thank you for your attention to this important matter. Sincerely, Natalie Silva, MD. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Reiko Sakai. Thank you for taking my comment. I'm a pediatrician at Natividad. I've been there for 7 years. I would like to speak in support of the amazing nurses that I have the privilege of working alongside in service to this community, and to express my shared concern about the unsafe nursing staffing in the Women's and Children's Services Department at Natividad. In the 7 years that I've worked in this department, I've never seen such chronic, severe, unsafe staffing, nor so many nurses leaving after their concerns have not been meaningfully addressed. I have personally witnessed most of the issues laid out by so many today, and additionally, I have been told that pediatric patients I have admitted must board in the emergency department overnight due to the inadequate nursing staffing. I have seen patient care policies expired for over a year because nursing leadership positions have been unfilled, and I have experienced pressure to discharge my patients early due to nursing staffing. I wholeheartedly join the call for a rigorous review of the management of women's and children's services. I share the grave concern about unsafe staffing and practices and the ongoing impact on patient care, as well as the increasing risk of a catastrophic patient safety event. Thank you for listening, and I will be emailing the supervisor representing my district for further discussion.
Hello, my name is Yumi Davis. I am a master's prepared registered nurse with 8.5 years experience. At 42 years old, I've come to this profession late in my life, having worked in finance before. In all this time, I have had countless supervisors, but one takes the proverbial cake for the most unprofessional and uncouth. Karen Fiala has repeatedly shocked our pediatric team with her behavior. When we knew our team had a shift with no available nurses to cover for day shift, she asked me to stay over my 12-hour shift and take a nap on the unit so that a non-pediatric nurse could wake me and ask questions if she needed. During this same night shift, as I made preparations to transfer the 8-year-old patient because our staffing issues had not been solved, I overheard Karen tell the house supervisor nurse I should take, quote, a chill pill. The irony of all this is our team has suggested solutions like training the traveler nurse to our unit first, knowing we had this gaping hole in our schedule. In labor and delivery, she has been known to ask surgical techs to record RNs that she thought were unworthy of their positions. These surgical techs quit, of course. In fact, our service line has had an insane attrition rate since her arrival. These numbers are not readily available to me. Please investigate it for yourselves. We have had positions like the recently filled Staff Nurse 3, filled by an outside crony of administration, a nurse with questionable bedside experience based on her first week with us. Why are we not fostering growth and development and leadership within our own team? The nurse that was denied this position had near 100% support from the rest of the team, our pediatric nurses and doctors. Again, in all my previous jobs and careers, I have never been so gaslit by a supervisor. I ask that you hear our concerns and act on them.
Good morning, supervisors. My name is Eloisa Junqueira, and I'm a physician at Natividad. I'm here today because I care deeply about the patients we serve and about the nurses who care for them every day. The nurses in Women and Children's Services have spent the last year and a half trying to address serious concerns through the appropriate channels. They have met with leadership, spoken with human resources, participated in meetings, submitted concerns, and followed the processes that were asked of them. Throughout that time, they have continued to show up every day for our patients and families. These are not nurses looking for conflict. They are experienced, compassionate professionals who choose this work because they care about mothers, babies, children, and their community. The fact that they feel compelled to come before you today should be viewed as a sign that they believe that they have exhausted the avenues available to them within the organization. As a physician who works alongside nurses every day, I know that safe, high-quality patient care depends on a culture where frontline staff can speak honestly about problems, raise concerns without fear, and trust that those concerns will be taken seriously. When that trust is eroded, it affects not only staff morale, but ultimately the care we provide. I'm here to respectfully ask that you listen carefully to what these nurses are telling you. Their concerns deserve thoughtful review, transparency, and meaningful action. Most importantly, they deserve to know that speaking up for their patients and their profession will not come at a personal cost. The women, children, and families of Monterey County deserve the very best care we can provide. The nurses standing before you today are advocating for that goal. Please let their voices be heard. I wear Natividad's hat with pride, and I would love to continue to do so. Thank you.
Good morning, elected Board of Supervisors. My name is Julieta Sanchez, registered nurse at Natividad Maternal Infant Unit for the past 16 years now. I am here to raise serious concerns about patient safety and working conditions within the last 2 to 3 years in the perinatal departments. What was once an award-winning service line has been disrupted due to a combination of decisions made by the service director. What used to be a supportive environment that followed Natividad's mission has become an increasingly short-staffed, strained, and even hostile environment. Since the new leadership came in 3 years ago, our nurses have seen a worsening decline in staff retention. This new culture brought on by management of vilifying staff and management's lack of accountability for being chronically short-staffed is putting our patients at risk for harm. We've lost exceptional nurses with over 20 years of experience over a short period of time, all due to the same concerns. I hope all of you can notice that nurses from across our vital departments are here today. Our director came in and immediately made cuts, refused to hear the frontline nurses, refused to respond to repeated concerns, interfered with our judgment at the bedside, and created punitive culture while putting patients and our licenses at risk. Today, we call on our elected leaders to stand with us and protect our mothers and children of Monterey County. Meet with us as a group, make walkthroughs in our units, stand with us as patient advocates, and conduct a thorough and transparent investigation of our director and lack of action by our hospital administration. Help us rebuild a healthy, collaborative work environment that allows us to provide the level of care our patients deserve. I trust all of you will understand nurses will not stay silent when our patient safety is being put at risk. Natividad has a strong reputation in this community, and we want to uphold that. But we need your support to do so. Thank you for your time, your support, and your leadership.
Good morning, supervisors and fellow registered nurses. I'm Yanni Cardenas, and I have been a registered nurse at Natividad Hospital for the past 9 years. I'm here today representing the nurses of the Maternal Infant Unit, also known as MIU, and speaking on behalf of the mothers, newborns, and families in our care. Over the past 2 years, the work environment at MIU has become increasingly concerning due to ongoing staffing and leadership challenges. We have witnessed dozens and dozens of experienced nurses leave, and only a handful of nurses have been hired to replace them. This has resulted in a significant loss of skilled nurses in our unit that requires mothers and newborns care during a very vulnerable time. Previously, our safe core staffing was 8 to 9 nurses per shift to safely meet the needs of our patients. Today, core staffing is set at 6 nurses per shift, and many times we are staffed with even fewer than that. This creates unsafe conditions for both patients and staff and increases the risk of delayed care, missed changes in conditions, and preventable complications. Our unit has experienced a prolonged absence of key leadership roles. We haven't had a consistent supervisor or perinatal educator for the past 2 years. The nurses of MIU and perinatal department are here today to call on our elected supervisors to stand with us as patient advocates and ensure that the families of Monterey County receive safe, high-quality care that they deserve. We need both immediate action and long-term solutions to address chronic, unsafe staffing and the lack of essential leadership support. Without these changes, our vulnerable mothers and newborns will remain at risk, increased risk, and poor outcomes, and nurses will continue to face unsafe working conditions. Our goal is simple: to protect our patients. When perinatal leadership prioritizes budgets over our babies and mothers, our patients and our community are at risk, and our nurses cannot be silent. Thank you for your time and for your support.
Good morning, my name is Genevieve, and I'm reading this on behalf of my colleague, Natasha Nava, Pediatric RN, Natividad Hospital. Board of Supervisors, member of the community. I have been employed as a registered nurse in the pediatric department at Natividad for 11 years. I'd like to bring your attention to some concerning issues affecting the quality of care our patients receive that is a direct result of the leadership currently in place within the Women and Children's Services line at Natividad. We have had unprecedented turnover in the last year within each department: labor and delivery, mother-infant unit, NICU, and pediatrics. During this time, we have lost seasoned, knowledgeable, qualified nurses who have left Natividad to work elsewhere due to the current leadership, specifically due to the Director of Women and Children's Services line. These nurses are highly respected by their peers and are local to our community. Many women have spent their entire career at Natividad. In addition, our leadership has denied promotional opportunities to qualified internal candidates within their own department in order to hire people from outside the area. The Women and Children's leadership has consistently hired staff and supervising nurses from outside the area, and many are personal contacts of such leadership. Natividad is a community hospital for both patients and employees. This practice of hiring from outside of our community causes high turnover rates because generally people from outside our area do not stay. The administration at Natividad states they desire nurse retention, and yet they're allowing leadership to make decisions that lead to high nurse turnover. Collectively, as nurses, we have brought our concerns to administration through the proper channels. Today, we are here to ask you to help us remedy our retention and recruitment issues so that we can continue to provide quality nursing care to our community. I'd like to add, on a morning where we can commend a company for their commitment to safety and serving underserved populations, you can hear our grievances and help us as well.
Good morning, supervisors. My name is Jana Costa. I've been a nurse for 16 years, and I work at Natividad in the maternal infant unit. Today, I'm speaking on behalf of frontline nurses across perinatal services. We're here because our concerns about staffing, leadership, and patient safety has not been meaningfully addressed by the hospital administration. Over the past 4 years, priorities have shifted away from patient safety and equitable, high-quality care and towards financial metrics and cultural transformation. Under current leadership, we have lost dozens of experienced nurses. The majority were not replaced. This has caused a serious loss of clinical experience and institutional knowledge. We have also lost nurses who led key safety and quality initiatives that helped make our service line award-winning. Those roles were not restored. Instead, responsibilities have been consolidated while bedside concerns continue to be ignored. Our postpartum core staffing has been reduced based on average census metrics, despite unpredictable volume and patient acuity. Bedside nurses' clinical judgment is too often overridden to justify unsafe assignments. Safe staffing should never be driven primarily by budgets or productivity targets. The mothers, infants, and children and families we serve are especially vulnerable. We're here asking the board to formally review whether current management practices in perinatal services align with safe, evidence-based standards of hospital leadership. At this point, inaction is also a decision. We urge the board to act now to protect our patients, our staff, and integrity of care before tragedy occurs. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gloria Bustillos, and I worked at Natividad for 18 years. So it was an honor to serve my community. And I retired not because I'm old. I retired because I could not work under Karen Fiala anymore. That's why I stopped. Okay, but you know what? I had a prepared, but I'm going to talk about the flyer that went out to all of the county. Your names are on it, okay? You send it to all your constituents. All the constituents. Inspiring healthy lives. Let's talk about that, okay? And all its disconnect from reality. There's no question about the devotion, the Natividad Hospital, the doctors and nurses there. But it publicly boasts about how expertly skilled staff is. But internal practices talk about, so they're different. It's a matter of professional ethics that nurses should be trained a minimum of 12 hours to take care of fragile infants in the neonatal intensive care unit in the NICU. But because the hospital unit, the census is low, proper training is no longer deemed cost effective. Yes, HR, Janine has said it's not cost effective. The hospital doesn't reach a magic number, so you know what? Nurses get canceled and we do not go get our training that our patients deserve. So we're being pressured to sign waivers that say, okay, I'll go and take care of your fragile baby, even though I am not competent to take care of your baby. How come it doesn't say that in the flyer? All right? So after 2 years of loyalty to the mission, I have to walk away because I know my values don't align anymore with the hospital, but yet we're sending this out to the community. I think Isabella's mom deserves
what she is asking for. Yo exijo que las enfermeras que atienden a mi hija sean entrenadas para sus cuidados especialmente. Si esas enfermeras vienen de otras unidades.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Belen Rodriguez. I'm a labor and delivery nurse at Natividad for about 20 years. But today I am reading on behalf of Michelle Alvarez, from our RN from our pediatric unit. Board of Supervisors, member of the community. I have been an employee of Natividad for 13 years with extensive experience in all 4 of the departments that fall under the Women Children service line. I am writing to you today out of concern about our patient safety, concern for our staff, and concern for our community. Over the past 2 years, I have witnessed extreme unprofessional behavior from our director. If anyone ever said or treated you the way this director treats us, you would be taking immediate action. The bullying and retaliation that this administration practices have led to high turnover, loss of trust, and have created instability within our continuity of care. Nurses who remain are working in fear. We are continually expected to take on additional responsibilities while working under increasingly stressful conditions with little acknowledgement or meaningful support from administrators. Staff, wellness, retention, and morale have clearly not been prioritized, and this ultimately affects patient care and the trust our community places in the hospital. Our community deserves leadership that values patient safety, supports its employees, encourages transparency, and invests in retaining experienced local healthcare professionals. Instead, many of us have witnessed decisions that prioritize favoritism, outside hiring, and administrative interests over the well-being of staff and patients. We want to continue to provide safe, quality nursing care for our patients and community, but meaningful changes and genuine support for staff are urgently needed. We are asking for your help. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good morning. My name is Carlos. I'm a nurse at Mental Health, and I'm here because I want to support my colleagues. And I want your attention, please, for a serious problem that is happening at the hospital right now, at Natividad. Natividad Hospital is a very important entity in Salinas for our community. And now our nurses have to come here and implore you, please, do something. It's time to stop. We need you, every single one of you, to end the disrespect for our nurses, for our community. I will ask you, would you come into an airplane if you heard that the pilot was undertrained to pilot that airplane to take you to New York, to take you to a vacation? Would you do that? The answer is no. Would you take your car to a place where they would change the oil and the manager said to the employer, use less oil because we have to save? It's okay. The car can run with half of the oil. That is not okay. Why you are allowing somebody to be a director of a department with such an inconsequence? I call your attention right now that if you do not do something, the community will suffer. Do you want the community to suffer? Do you want your electors to come here and say, I lost my son because the hospital was not responsible for? I call your attention today, supervisors, because you are responsible for the lives we as nurses see. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, nurses? No. You are responsible for the lives we see. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rosie Garcia, RN BSN. I have dedicated the past 14 years of my nursing career to high-risk labor and delivery, including the last 10 years serving Natividad in our community. I am here today because I'm concerned about patient safety, nurse retention, and the increasing strain placed on frontline staff within women and children's services. Our department has experienced significant turnover, leaving us short-staffed on a nearly daily basis. At the same time, we are training new nurses, which is critical to the future of our department. However, nurses assigned to trained cannot safely carry full patient assignment, leaving charge nurses to absorb additional responsibilities while managing patient flow, staffing, and emergencies. Our antenatal testing area is often staffed by a single nurse responsible for evaluating a large volume of patients without dedicated backup. When emergencies arise, nurses must be pulled from an already stretched areas to assist. We're also facing ongoing capacity challenges. Patients are sometimes placed in overflow areas, and recovery spaces intended for surgical patients are used to accommodate additional volume. We continue to face demands that exceed the resources and space available. The nurses and charge nurses working at the bedside see the challenges every day. We are asking the board of directors and hospital leadership to listen to the people closest to the patients and closest to the work. Frontline staff have firsthand knowledge of the barriers affecting patient care, staff retention, and unit safety, and their voices should be part of the solution. Patient safety should never depend on staff working extra, staying late, or sacrificing their own well-being to keep the system functioning. Sustainable staffing and safe patient care require long-term resolutions, not temporary fixes. Today, our union nurses are calling on the elected Board of Supervisors to stand with us, sworn patient advocates, hold the perinatal management accountable, and once and for all, put our vulnerable babies and moms before budgets. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors and the members of the community. My name is Adriana, and I am speaking on behalf of Natividad Hospital and the Pediatrics Department. I want to bring attention to the urgent need for change within the Women's and Children's Department. Since new leadership took over several years ago, morale, safety, and staff retention has declined significantly. This is affecting not only nurses, but all staff within these departments, as well as our patients and their families. Evidence of these concerns can be seen in the press gaining results. It is widely known throughout the organization that there are ongoing issues within pediatrics, MIU, NICU, and L&D. Many nurses and staff members are experiencing bullying and retaliation. There are growing fear among employees, fear of losing a patient, a colleague, or even our jobs. We are here because this is our community. These are our families, friends, and neighbors that we care for every day. Yet, we continue to see nurses and supervisors hired from outside the area who have close connections to the Women and Children's Director. Numerous concerns regarding the direction of Women's and Children's Department has already been raised with upper management, including the Chief Nursing Officer, during our monthly PPC meetings. These meeting minutes can be reviewed to confirm the issues have been discussed repeatedly for the last 2 years. We are asking the Board of Supervisors to help guide these departments back onto the right path and to protect our patients, their families, and the staff who care for them. We need your support, your leadership, and your understanding. The next time your child is sick or your family member is in labor, you deserve to feel confident that they will be cared for with the compassion, dignity, and attention, not viewed simply as a bed number or acuity level. These are your loved ones, just as they are ours. Thank you.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors and fellow nurses. My name is Jamie Gams, and I have been a registered nurse for over 10 years in the Natividad Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, or NICU. I am here today to advocate for the vulnerable mothers and infants of Monterey County. Our department faces chronic short staffing, which has only worsened over the years. But while our nursing administration continues to flounder in recruiting and maintaining permanent and experienced registered nurse and support staff that are invested in our community, it is ultimately the women and children of Monterey County and their quality of care that suffer. When an administration cannot maintain professional leadership standards, we end up with a director that doesn't value mutual respect and patient safety, and in turn, the entire department suffers. For example, in my unit alone, the already overburdened nursing staff has been asked to pick up yet another 2 additional nursing roles. In other words, we were directed to do more with less. When we asked for clarity and communication about these roles, we were promised a committee and discussion that included the nurses. Yet 7.5 months have come and gone, and our nurses' call for accountability has not happened. In the meantime, it's the patients that receive the inconsistent care. Our perinatal department nurses have surpassed burnout. We are all suffering from moral injury. And for the board of members who may not know, according to the Health Force Center at UCSF, healthcare workers whose jobs put them in high-risk stakes, life or death situations, and who may experience intense and prolonged work stress may be especially vulnerable to moral injury. Many of our nurses in the NICU have retired early and are retiring in the next year or so. Since our unit is small, nursing skill mix is critically important. That means we must have enough experienced nurses to be able to mentor younger RNs. Yet in 3 out of the 4 units, our perinatal services department, we struggle with skills mix almost every single night shift. We are calling on our elected board to investigate and address nurses' serious concerns about current leadership practices and decisions that affect the safety of our vulnerable patients. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, my name is Juana Veronica Aragon. I am a family nurse practitioner, and I am here today to support my colleagues, the nurses of Natividad Medical Center. I too was recently a perinatal nurse, and I too echo all of their cries for need to review further and look at the current issues at hand. I unfortunately don't have much time as I am in clinic today. However, did want to make note that we need more discussions. We need to bring these topics at the table, and we need to come together, united for our community. And again, I am here representing not only the nursing community, but the indigenous communities of Monterey Peninsula or Monterey County. And so thank you again. Thank you, nurses, for what you're doing. And supervisors, please, let's have a conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. And then to all of our nurses, just wanted to say to continue working with the system. We hear you, and we'll be working with our teams as appropriate. So thank you for being here.